Hello and welcome to my second vlog thing. Firstly, let me apologise for this going up late, because of course you've been sitting here all day impatiently waiting. And secondly, let me apologise for my amazing fashion. I know it's making you feel very self-conscious. Now then, over this month, it's probably more than likely that I'm going to be doing a video where I'm talking politics, either directly or indirectly. So I figured I'd make this little video talking about how I like to approach politics and my thoughts on how society seems to be approaching politics recently. So not so much my own political views as much as my views on politics as a topic, if that makes sense. Well, in a minute anyway. If you don't click off. You've clicked off, damn it. Now, of course, we are seeing here in the West, particularly here in the UK, and from what I can see on the news in the US as well, society has become very divided, to say the least. And now there, of course, always has been some division, but it seems to have more of a presence now than what I can remember when I was a bit younger. Of course, I'm only 22, so I probably can't remember that well. It could be that it's always been this divisive and I'm just a young idiot, but yeah. Imagine there's a few reasons for this. Firstly, of course, we have mass media now, particularly when it comes to social media. And I think we're really starting to see more extreme political figures and ideologies taking more of a mainstream role, presence, whatever you want to say. With Trump, for example, being a good example. Someone who, we thought was very unlikely to get into mainstream politics, but is now the President of the United States. And I think that sort of thing is likely to cause more division, of course, because the more polarized someone is, the more opposition there's going to be. But what I find particularly troubling about this is the language that people seem to be using recently when discussing politics. Rarely do you see an argument or debate where people discuss the pros and cons of particular policies with some level of respect and dignity. Nowadays, all I ever seem to see is people hurling abuse at each other for being either a fascist, racist, right winger, or a retarded liberal snowflake lefty moaner or re-moaner, depending on what country you're in. And it really fucking frustrates me, to be honest. I hate this whole left versus right mentality. It's stupid. Politics is an incredibly multi-dimensional topic. It's not a case of left versus right at all. It's more about so many things. Nationalism versus privatization, liberalism versus authoritarianism, security versus human rights, globalization versus localization, nationalism versus multiculturalism, and many other things. It's not about left and right. It's people don't fit on a normal linear scale like that. People have a mixed bag of views, and often people's own views are hypocritical of their other views. Now, if you take me, for example, I'm considered left-wing for many reasons. I'm liberal, I believe in human rights, although that's, we'll go on to this. And I think that we should have more national union services. So yeah, typically what people class as left. However, I care much more about, for example, human rights and liberty than I do about nationalism, about nationalisation. Meaning that I might actually find a lot more common ground with, say, an ultra-capitalist, someone that really believes in the free market, in small governments, but who also believes in human rights and liberty. Someone that believes in things like gay marriage and the like. I'd probably find more common ground with someone like that than I would, say, a communist who is very authoritarian. You might have a communist that's very authoritarian, very traditional, but also believes in nationalization, sorry. um, and even though me and the communists are both considered left-wing, I'd be far closer, politically speaking, to the capitalist. Or at least, as far as I'm concerned, I'd find myself a lot closer to them. And that's what I mean, it really kind of spits in the face of the whole left and right thing. Because not only do we have a very mixed bag of political topics and views, but people also put a lot more weight on particular topics. If I cared a lot more about nationalization than I do about human rights and stuff, then I might say, oh no, I'm closer to the communist. So that's just an example using me. Personally, I prefer to try and stay clear of tribalism as well. Be it tribalism to the left or to the right. So what I mean by that is people saying, well, I'm a lefty, or I'm a Labour, or I'm a Tory, blah, 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 blah. You're right, you're wrong, we're right. I used to be, for example, Green. But even when I was a member, I never agreed with all Green policies, nor should I. There were lots of things about Green policies which I didn't like, and there were some particular individuals in the Green Party which I disliked and who I disagreed with quite a lot. And it's fine to be a member of a political party or to consider yourself part of a particular ideology, but it doesn't mean you have to adhere to every single part of it. It doesn't mean you have to agree with everything. It certainly doesn't mean you have to defend every single thing your party says and does. And that's what I mean by tribalism. It's pointless, and that creates division as well. For example, again, like I said, I used to be Green. Not anymore. I try to be apolitical. But even then, I look at UKIP and there are things which I agree on with them. For example, I think that we need to be more democratic. I believe that we need to have a better voting system, because at the moment ours isn't working. It really kind of favours the two major parties, and I don't think that's democratic. So yeah, I can find things I agree with other parties, and that is what you should do. But a lot of times nowadays people don't want to do that. And that's what I think is really important. Judging policies, not parties or people. Policies. Each individual policies. Be willing to side with the enemy. if you call people like your enemies. Be willing to compromise. Be willing to accept new ideas, and sometimes be willing to change yours as well, especially if presented with strong evidence. Now, I've just realised I've been rambling on for a long time now, so I'm going to cut this short. If you enjoyed this video, again, subscribe and like it. If you have any suggestions for topics to discuss, please feel free to put them down, be they political or otherwise. Any thoughts or arguments you have about this, feel free to comment. And if you've got any abuse, snowflake, do that too. Why not? Keep me interested. I'm sad like that. And good night.